Hey guys, my name is Matimio, and today some pretty big changes have happened to Battlefield 4, and some of them have caused a bit of a ruckus amongst the community. One thing that I'm hearing a lot is that the IRNV and the FLIR scope is now going to be completely useless. Essentially what DICE has done here is that now when you throw down a smoke grenade, you can no longer use these scopes to peer through it and kill unsuspecting victims. And so the tactic that a lot of people are using, especially on a game mode like Rush, where you can throw down a smoke grenade, hide in a corner, and then look through it and kill any unsuspecting victim, is no longer going to be an effective tactic or a viable tactic. It's no longer going to be possible. And so a lot of people are saying that this was the only reason to use these two attachments, and thus they are no longer going to be viable whatsoever. And while I will give it to them that this is a flat nerf, like there's no way of getting around it, but I would not say that they're worthless. Here, for example, I was running around on the new community map, and for the most part, I would say that this was a solid attachment to use. There is a lot going on this jungle theme environment, and there's many times where it's very difficult to pinpoint where the enemy is going to be coming from, or where the enemy is even located as soon as you aim down sight. And so as soon as you start to use the IRNV and the FLIR scope, yes, it still has the downsides that it obstructs your vision around your periphery, but you can see people hiding in bushes and trees as if they were sticking out like a sore thumb. And so while yes, this is no longer going to be an attachment that you can abuse on certain game modes, I think for the most part people are overreacting. It's still going to be great on particular maps. You're going to have to slow down your playstyle, of course, but if you're playing on the new night map, the new community map, and some others, I still think that this is going to be a viable attachment to use. Another change that has people upset is further adjustments to the SRAW. I feel like DICE doesn't know what they want to do with this rocket, because over this last couple of updates, this thing has gotten kicked around all over the place. At least according to the patch notes, what they wanted to accomplish with this update is that they wanted to make it a more versatile and appealing rocket on the battlefield. And so what they've done is that they've increased its movement speed, it travels a little bit faster, they've increased its agility, but the downside, and to make sure that it isn't blatantly overpowered, is that they've reduced its damage. You can no longer one-shot a helicopter from 100 health. You're not going to notice too much a difference between tank combat. You're still going to do a solid about 22 to 25 damage. It's a little bit less, but not too noticeable. But at least against enemy air vehicles, you're no longer going to have that satisfaction of taking out a helicopter from 100% health and getting that nice fireball. I think the reason why I'm upset by these changes isn't the nerf to the damage, isn't the increase in the speed or anything like that. It's the fact that they keep making these adjustments that require you to completely relearn how to use this rocket effectively. The only parallel that I could think of is that if you were a basketball player, you've been playing basketball your entire life, and the NBA swooped on and said, hey, you know what, we're going to increase the size of the ball and make it a little bit heavier. You might be thinking to yourself, well, that's awful, that's terrible, but I'll get adjusted. If it's necessary, I'll do it and I'll get good with that. A few months go by, you're finally feeling good with the new ball, but then they come back later and say, oh, you know what, we really screwed up on this new ball. We're actually gonna make it smaller than the original, have fun with that. And while, yes, it bounces, it's a ball, it functions exactly like a ball should, it changes the way that the player has to shoot. That's kind of how it feels with the SRAW. And so from my perspective, yeah, it kind of sucks that the damage has been reduced, but I'm just getting tired of constantly having to relearn this thing. And so my plea to DICE is that hopefully you have found the sweet spot here, where it's not overpowered or underpowered. It feels like a viable weapon, because it is getting really old, constantly relearning how to use this thing on the battlefield. One thing that was becoming clear with this patch, though, is that DICE is trying to make a distinction between weapons that are good at taking out aircrafts and then ones that are meant for taking out ground vehicles. I'm assuming this is one of the reasons why the SRAW did get that nerf in its damage, because they don't want you using this to take out aircrafts. They want you to use it to take out ground targets, and the Stinger and the Igla are now getting some loving. They are getting a big upgrade in their damage. You can now two-shot pretty much any aircraft. I think the transport helicopter is going to be able to take 3 Stingers, but the scout helicopter and the attack helicopter, if you land a shot on them with a Stinger, you are going to do a consistent 50 damage. And so if you're going against a team that is destroying you with their air vehicles, be them a Little Bird or an attack helicopter or even jets, just switch on over to the Stinger. DICE wants you to. They are trying to make it abundantly clear. They're trying to disincentivize you to use the more quote-unquote skillful weapons and want you to use the weapons that are appropriate for that type of combat. And while I know that some people will disagree with this change, I can see why they're doing it. They want to have a clear distinction between the roles, and that seems the direction that they are taking with Battlefield 4. Another thing that's a little bit of a head scratcher is that they've nerfed C4. I never really thought to myself, oh boy, C4's overpowered. But I guess in DICE's eyes, they thought that this was too good at taking out vehicles. And so now if you come across a tank that's at 100% health, you need to put 3 sticks instead of 2 to be able to drop him. Not only that, but they've also reduced its blast radius. And so if the tank realizes that you're there, you only put 2 on, you put the 3rd down on the ground because you can't, directly put it on to the side of the tank because he's driving away. You detonate, hoping that the blast radius will get him. It may no longer do that anymore. In my opinion, if a recon or a support player is lucky enough or skillful enough to get behind a tank and plant this on them, they deserve that kill. Now that they've essentially increased the time that you have to be standing there to set up said kill, it leaves you vulnerable for all the other things that can take you out. Infantry that are around the vehicle, there could be the guy inside will realize that you're there, maybe run you over, maybe he'll just drive away so you can't get that 3rd one on, he'll whip that massive can around, slap you right in the face with it. Like, there's so many things that can go wrong, and so I guess I just don't understand why they have made this change. At the end of the day, though, this is their game. They can do whatever the hell they want, but at least from my perspective, it is a bit of a head scratcher. The last thing I wanted to mention before I take off for today is play the objective like it's your job, because you are going to be heavily rewarded for it. If you are someone who plays Conquest and only goes for kills now, and you don't touch or go anywhere near one of the capture points, you're gonna have a hard time reaching the top of the scoreboard. If you capture an objective, you are rewarded with a ridiculous 400 points. It's insane. And so the one piece of advice that I have is that while some of these changes are going to take some time for you to get adjusted to, play the objective as often as you can, and you are going to be heavily rewarded for those actions. But yeah, guys, that is about it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Give me your thoughts on what DICE has done with this update. Are you happy with the direction that they're taking with Battlefield 4? Are you a little upset with some of the changes? Let me know down below. But yeah, guys, until tomorrow, have a good one and take it easy.